Buying your first home is not easy, and there are a lot of mistakes you can make that could cost you thousands of dollars. So let's try to avoid those and save you money, time, energy, and your sanity. If you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. My name is Macallum, and I am a real estate agent from the city of Toronto. I manage a real estate team in the GTA, and we specialize in residential resale and pre-construction. And if you'd like to schedule a call with me directly to talk about buying, selling, or just a call about the current market conditions, you can book a meeting directly into my calendar by clicking the link in the description of this video or the link in my channel bio. And if you find this video and others I've created helpful and informative, please hit the like button and consider subscribing so you can join our growing community. Although this video is titled How to Purchase Your First Home, the mistakes and concepts apply to whether you're purchasing your first home or your fifth home. The first mistake we see buyers make is the most common and actually the easiest to avoid, and that is not getting pre-approved. If you're not familiar, a pre-approval is the process of a bank or a mortgage broker evaluating your finances to determine which mortgage product is best for you and your maximum purchase price. It essentially tells you how much you can spend on your new home. And we tend to find that off the bat, buyers don't want to go through the pre-approval process because it can take a lot of time to gather the required documents, and it involves taking a deep dive into finances, which most people don't love to talk about, but it's absolutely crucial when you're purchasing a home. As an example, a prospective buyer called me a few weeks ago and explained how he fell in love with a house in Leaside, which was valued around $2.3 million, while it was listed for, if I recall correctly, $1.9 million. He had not spoken to a mortgage broker or his bank about financing. Rather, he spent a lot of time searching online and loving properties that were outside of his newfound budget. We connected him with one of our mortgage brokers and toured the home to give him an understanding of the property and what sells in that price range. Following the showing, our mortgage broker determined that based on his finances, his maximum affordability was $1.8 million, which was below the value of the property he fell in love with. It's really unfortunate and tough to see people spend countless hours looking online at properties that they don't know they can't afford. They fall in love with them and then they experience heartbreak. The moral of this mistake is to get pre-approved. It's free and sets you up for success. The second mistake I find buyers tend to make is not having specific criteria, which leads them to running around the GTA, whether virtually and in person, trying to target any and every home. When we speak with buyers during our initial buyer consultation, we want to determine what the buyer is looking for beyond just simply how many bedrooms and how many bathrooms they require. It's important to pinpoint if you as a buyer need parking, a locker, what square footage, specific locations, balcony, basement, lot size, age, etc. The list just goes on beyond the basics. Once you have formulated the specific criteria for your home search, trust me, you will feel a lot less overwhelmed by the number of listings that are available to you. If you as a buyer don't narrow down enough, there will be far too many listings to look at. And if you narrow down too much on the other side, there won't be enough listings for you to look at. During our buyer consultation, we show clients via Zoom which properties have sold in the past month, which match their criteria. This way they know how many properties could potentially hit the market in the coming weeks that they might like. For this mistake, you need to find a happy median when it comes to choosing your criteria. The third mistake we find buyers make is similar to the second, but it's related to location. We often see primarily first-time buyers explore massive geographic areas. And sometimes this needs to happen based on criteria and budget, but it's important to like where you live, because where you live shapes who you are, the friends you have, the grocery stores you have access to, the schools your kids will go to, and so much more. And of course, I completely recognize that not every single buyer has the luxury of selecting their favorite neighborhood. But if you as a buyer have the ability to focus on a few neighborhoods instead of really large geographic areas, I would highly recommend doing so. One of the suggestions that I make to clients when they are exploring areas they're not overly familiar with is to spend a weekend afternoon walking and driving around the neighborhood to see if it's the right fit. Now, you can read hundreds of Reddit posts about a neighborhood or a building, but nothing truly beats walking around yourself. And as the age old saying goes, location, location, location. You can change the interior, but you cannot change the location. Now, the fourth mistake we see buyers make far too often is somewhat controversial, but it's shopping distracted and not spending enough time in the home. This is one of, if not the largest financial decisions you will ever make in your life, so you want to be 100% attentive. The most common distraction we see at showings is from young kids running around and parents trying to control them, which takes away from their ability to concentrate on the home. And this typically cuts showings short as well. Now, yes, it can be very difficult to find childcare, but this is a common distraction that we see all the time. When our clients are unable to give 100% attention to the home, poor decisions tend to be made. And this brings me to my second point of this mistake, which is not spending enough time in the home. It's imperative that when you are touring a home, you fully immerse yourself in the space and understand if and how you can live there. And don't be afraid to book another showing if you have the luxury of doing so. Okay, now the fifth and final mistake we see buyers make, and that is letting staging sell them the home. The fact is, staging works and sells homes for more money. The reason staging companies exist is because their touch on homes can influence a buyer and make a home appear more valuable than an unstaged property. When touring homes to purchase, it's important to look past staging because once those pieces are gone, you're left with an empty house that is not going to look the same as it did during your showing. Now, there you have it. The 5 mistakes we see buyers make far too often and the mistakes we try to help them avoid. And if you want to learn more about the open bidding system for real estate in Canada, click the video here and check it out.